Welcome to True Health Tuesday, and the truth will set you free. Now, we're going to talk about gallbladder. Now, this was inspired by this question from Sadia Khalid. Can you please talk about gallbladder stones? My son is having frequent attacks and can't eat any grains, fats, dairies, or legumes. Even when he eats only vegetables, he gets stomach pains. Does he have to remove his gallbladder? He's 22 years old. Crazy, but let's get into it, because when you're looking at gallstones, and we're going to go over the formation of them, how they come under stress, and there's physical, chemical, emotional stress. So instead of saying, why can't he digest this? Why does he get stomach pains? Why that? The quality of your life depends on the quality of questions you ask. So 3 important ones. What am I toxic with? What am I deficient in? And why do I have this symptom? That is the key. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this vital life-saving information. Together, we can change the world and make our whole planet healthier. Now, when you look at this digestive system, it is brilliant. In fact, the digestion begins by you smelling. This is why you got a wet, drippy thing above your mouth, the nose. So when you put something in there, your brain smells it, hits the exposed piece of brain called the olfactory bulb, and then this triggers your brain into producing a certain type of acid. This is why if you're eating chicken, it's going to be a different acid than lamb. It's going to be a different acid than broccoli. And then you swallow this food. It goes down the esophagus into the stomach. And the stomach is underneath the diaphragm. Okay, and then it hits the duodenum, which is right where the gallbladder drains and the pancreas drains. Then it goes into the jejunum and the ileum and then the large intestine. And this whole system is designed to get the amino acids from the proteins, the fatty acids from the fats, and usable sugars from the carbohydrates. Now, when you look at the liver is amazing. I want you to look at this picture, because everything you put in your mouth, and I'm talking, broccoli, cilantro, the healthy animal products, okay, the Tylenol, okay, medications, they all have to be filtered through this portal vein. Everything. It goes literally through the wall in the intestinal tract into this portal caval system. And so the liver is amazing. It's a blood filtration system. It's an enzyme factory. It breaks down nutrients, stores nutrients, produces cholesterol. And let me tell you, cholesterol is one of the most important structures you have. It's 50% of your brain. And it's also the precursor to most every hormone you make, like glucocorticosteroids, mineralocorticosteroids, sex hormones, everything. And when you look at this, the liver produces bile. But how does it get that bile? You see, all the red blood cells you got only live 120 days. And then the spleen sends them over to the liver to be broken down into the protein constituents. So nothing is wasted. Body is super efficient, but that's where bile comes from. Now, when you look at what forms gallstones, so remember, anytime you got physical, chemical, or emotional stress, your body's going to excrete similar hormones like cortisol, epinephrine, norepinephrine, or adrenaline. And these stress hormones go through the body and they do their function. Then when they're done, it goes to the spleen and it sends it over to the liver, and the liver breaks down those constituents. Well, when I was teaching human dissection, I had a jar of these gallstones. And it's interesting because they form under stress. And some of the doctors I was working with would slice them through. They'd see certain crystal formations, and those crystal formations correlated with the stress hormones. So increased stress hormones is going to increase gallbladder sludge. And this is what we see when people are forming gallstones, that there is a sludge-like product there. And so when you look at what bile does, so you've got the food coming out of the stomach. Right in this area called the duodenum, when fat hits that, that's when the gallbladder contracts, forces bile into that duodenum to emulsify and break down the fats. And you're looking at vitamin A, D, E, K, a lot of, and those are not just vitamins, a lot of them are now considered hormones. And so when you look at this, and I want you to understand the anatomy clearly, You swallow stuff, and that goes down the esophagus, and there's a muscle right at the base of the esophagus and the stomach that tightens up on the presence of, it's called the lower esophageal sphincter, when acid and food hits the stomach. Now, all of the stomach contents are underneath the diaphragm. This is why we talk about diaphragmatic breathing as hugely important for digestion. And also the nerve that supplies the diaphragm comes out of the neck. So there's a lot of stuff you got to look at. Then that food goes through, once it's broken down by the stomach, the huge acid goes into that duodenum where the gallbladder excretes and pancreas secretes. And then it goes into the other parts of the small intestine, the jejunum and ileum. When we look at the stomach, you've got chief and parietal cells, and these are constantly, I mean, there's so much acid or a low pH in pepsin and hydrochloric acid that it can literally burn a hole in metal. I mean, it'll break down bone, it'll break down everything. It's amazing. And so why, you might say, why does the stomach not digest itself? Well, the stomach actually does digest itself. That's why you have goblet cells always secreting this mucus lining. And that mucus lining is always there to protect it. Now, this stomach is under parasympathetic nervous system control. We're going to get into in a moment. But the cool thing is, when you understand, now, if hydrochloric acid could literally burn through bone, how can you make a cell that could withstand that hydrochloric acid production? Well, because the cell's in two parts. One part spits out a chlorine atom, one part spits out hydrochloric atom, and so this hydrochloric acid forms outside of the cell. I know. Every time you learn something about the body, isn't there like a wonderment? Like, oh my gosh, brilliant. So what happens if you have a defect in the goblet cells, then the acid will start to wear away the stomach lining. Now, when we look at the pancreas and gallbladder drain through the same opening. It's called the ampulla vater. Now, and so that means if gallbladder sludge is there, it can actually block or slow down those pancreatic excretions. And the pancreas not only is going to help to emulsify, or the gallbladder is going to emulsify the fats, but the pancreas is going to have a bicarb in there to raise the pH so that the vitamins can be extracted. And this whole thing is governed by this automatic nervous system. And every human being has two switches. One, stress, the other, regeneration. And I want you to own this, because when you see people 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, healthy, with good bodies, good brains, strong, and those people 60, 70, 80, 90 years old, unhealthy bodies, sick brains, what's the difference? One's regenerating, one's not. And all human beings have these two switches. Sympathetic means fight or flight. Parasympathetic is regeneration or rest, digest, and repair. Now, the parasympathetic is located in the cervical and the pelvis, and you can see the innervation here. So if there's been a trauma with the neck, if there's a person that's sitting a lot or they fell on their butt, they can have altered parasympathetic activity. If there's been a rib cage trauma or lumbar trauma, they can have altered sympathetic activity. So everything is governed by this. And when one switch is on, the other's off. It's like gas pedal and brake. When you're under stress, your liver starts to break glycogen down to glucose, so blood sugar goes up, blood pressure goes up, blood supply to the gut shuts down. Immune system is weakened because immune systems are metabolically expensive. So own this. It's really that automatic activity or autonomic activity that keeps you alive and regenerating the tissue. And you need to have this system in balance. And what happens, though, we're under a huge amount of stress. And luckily, all stress can be broken down. This is why that little 22-year-old kid or young 22-year-old guy, he's got physical stress, chemical stress, and emotional stress. And what does that do? That shuts blood supply down to the gut. So foods that it might not have caused him an issue a few years earlier are now causing him an issue. And then there's certain other medical interventions that can lead to that. But what does chronic stress do to digestion? Well, decreases your metabolism, shuts down blood supply to the gut, decreases your enzymatic output, so you can't literally break down some of the nutrients, decreases nutrient absorption, elevated stress hormones or cholesterol, because you need cholesterol in order to produce the adrenaline, epinephrine, norepinephrine, elevates triglycerides, damages your flora. This is why, number one, you've got to look at the autonomic nervous system. And you can see that on x-ray if there's a defect. You can see that on a leaky gut as well. And this right here, you're looking at, picture on the left is somewhat normal, still some damage there. Picture on the right is literally, stress. And when you're talking altered structure equals altered function. This is why you should have a beautiful curve in the neck. Loss of curve, that's going to be pulling on the brainstem. So you've got to look at the physical stressors that's been present. Now I want to show you this. Okay, look at the normal gut pattern on the left, and you're going to see the intestinal tract. You've got the ascending colon on the right, and there's a patient facing us. So when I say the right, it's really the left-hand side of the film. Then you have the transverse colon going along. Then you have the descending colon, and the gas bubble in the top of the stomach called, and on the top of the stomach called the Magenblas should look like a half moon. Look at the picture on the right. Now this gal literally was proven in court that the DPAT shot actually caused her some damage. And look at the stomach. And when I tell patients, when you see a leaky gut, even if you've never seen a stomach before, you're going to say something's not right with that picture. It looks like she was shot in the stomach with a shotgun. And this is horrible because what happens in the gut? You're looking at neurotransmitter production. You're looking at immune system. You're looking at everything. Here's another patient. Leaky gut on the left where it's abnormal, and you can see the expanded intestinal tract, that gas barrier. And then you're looking at 90 days later. See that beautiful half moon in the top right hand? That's the Magenblas, or the gas bubble, which means the same thing. Now, exercise. What does exercise do? Well, it moves the lymph, improves bile flow, improves circulation. Around that whole intestinal tract is lymph, and you got 4 times the amount of lymph that you do blood. Now, exercise prevents digestive disorders, increases bowel movement, reduces constipation, helps with better nutrient absorption. So you got to move every joint every day and at least an hour of exercise a day. Remember, those 60, 70, 80, 90-year-old people that have healthy bodies and healthy brains, they're doing this. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. The people 60, 70, 80, 90 years old that are unhealthy body, unhealthy brains, they are not doing this. Proper nutrition, it's simple. You got thousands of generations that preceded you. Healthy fats, ghee, coconut oil, grass-fed butter. Fruit is really great for you. Antioxidants, I'd recommend eating it in between meals. Bone broth is amazing for healing the leaky gut. Amazing. Raw dairy, probiotics, prebiotics. If you're a vegetarian, man, just get those animal fats in there. And if you're a vegan, get fermented foods. That will help a lot. It's just amazing. And then incorporate coconut oil in every chance you can because you need the healthy fats. An organic diet, just like all our ancestors did, based in plants. If you have certain health challenges, a carnivore diet is excellent, but you got to get healthy animals. So when I say plant-based, it's not 100% vegetarian. I mean, you're eating plants. Fermented vegetables, prebiotics, probiotics. Raw dairy is amazing. And what does fermented foods do? It helps build that ecosystem of digestion. And we do have an ecosystem. Kombucha, sauerkraut, pickles, miso, kimchi. What is the function of the gut flora? This is the ecosystem. Realize you got 70 trillion cells. You got 10 times the number of cells, bacteria, and you got 10 times bacteria, viruses and molds and funguses. So you're 2/3 bugs. So you got a symbiotic relationship. You got to treat that gut like it's the Serengeti plain. We've got to have a balance of good bacteria and molds and yeast and funguses. The gut flora digests and absorbs carbohydrates, produces vitamins, absorbs minerals, eliminates toxins. This is your gut flora. This is the bacteria that you want to get in your system. Keeps harmful bacteria under control. aids in antibody productions, and 90% of your immune system's there. So what are some of the easy solutions for gallbladders? Heat therapy. Put moist heat, the gallbladders in the middle, a bit on the right-hand side, okay? Put moist heat on there. Moist heat penetrates up to 2 inches. This will raise the blood supply to that area. Diaphragmatic breathing is going to help. Apple cider vinegar, amazing. The acetic acid and other acids help reduce the production of cholesterol in the liver, but it literally helps break down some of those. Malic acid solves the gallstones. And amazing. This is why we talk about a quart to a half gallon of apple juice a day, if that's tolerable. If not, citrus is also fantastic for that. Then, sufficient rest. This is when the body regenerates. If you look at your whole world, whatever you do, if you maximize sleep, that's tissue production central. And when you're looking at lack of sleep, this is pretty much our society. It weakens your immune system, aggravates chronic pain. Why? Because when you're resting, that's your regeneration cycle. If you have poor sleep, it improves your mental and physical performance. It alters hormone levels, leads to brain shrinkage. So the things that you can do to achieve deep sleep: no stimulating activities before bedtime. Okay, caffeine, obviously not. Dark chocolate, as wonderful as it is, full in antioxidants, don't do it right before bed. Alcohol will disrupt sleep. Sleeping pills will disrupt sleep. Sleeping pills will disrupt sleep. Yes, I did say that. Sleeping pills magically give you about 12 minutes more sleep a night, but you're getting a chemically induced sleep. Read the label. It tells you what it does to you. Avoid sugars and grains, and find out if you're taking medications, why are you taking them? And the do's, and this is, remember, you got that parasympathetic nervous system responsible for rest, digest, and repair. So look at the structure. Absolutely. Keep a regular sleep schedule. This is how I get over jet lag so easy. Okay, while I'm flying to wherever the heck I'm going, okay, about halfway through the flight, whether it's 10, 12-hour flight, I wake up and I live according to the time zone in that area. Within 24 hours, bam, first day is a challenge. Okay, exercise regularly to improve sleep. Make sure it's no noise. It has to be dark because your body goes through these 90-minute cycles called rapid eye movement. And when you're sleeping, your eyes are closed. When you complete that REM state, your eyes open. And if there's enough light to see your hand in front of your face, so I mean blackout curtains or nightshades, look for electromagnetic frequencies too. That can negatively affect you. Reserve your bed for sleeping. A high-protein snack before bed is great. A small piece of fresh fruit that'll help the glucose get to your brain. A hot bath is amazing. Okay, wear an eye mask. Listen to white noise. Set at 528 hertz would be even better. But if you're putting white noise on a cell phone, make sure it's more than 3 feet away from your head. Journal before bed and read a paper book 15 minutes before bed. No electronic devices. Now, prayer and meditation. Just saying gratitude. That's going to help with your parasympathetic. Even the moronic CDC says 85% of disease is caused by emotions. And when you look at this, daily prayer and meditation, when you're in that meditative state, you're literally in that parasympathetic state. And just think of the yogis. Okay, Om, they can meditate and they could raise or lower your blood pressure. Om, they can meditate, they could hold their breath for crazy amounts of time. When you master your emotions, you change your physiology. Look at all of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work. Look at Dr. DeMartini's work. Okay, there's enough information out there to realize that we're on a 3-legged stool. When we talk about physical, chemical, and emotional stress, master your emotions through daily prayer and meditation, neurolinguistic programming, the I am statements, emotional freedom technique works, the DeMartini method, breakthrough. I've been to several of those seminars, and he is just brilliant. Use the breathing exercise. Sit up straight. Place your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Okay, breathe in through count of 4. Hold it for a count of 7, and then breathe out to a count of 8. So this rhythmic breathing is going to be fantastic. And this is just one method. Diaphragmatic breathing is going to be fantastic. Wim Hof breathing is amazing. There's a lot of different breathing techniques, but make sure that you are utilizing your diaphragm. So when you breathe in, the chest isn't going up. Your tummy is coming out and going in. Breathing is, I'm getting rid of my acid. I'm alkalinizing my system. That's not just carbon dioxide going out. That's cellular exudates too. So respiration, perspiration, bowel movements, and urination are the 4 detox pathways. This is why covering your face is really not smart for your immune system. Now, that's why we call the 5 keys to health. So please take care of your body. Understand that gallbladder sludge, gallbladder stones are there for a reason. Your body's walling off stress hormones, and there is a problem. We got that automatic nervous system. So now, place your questions below. We're going to try and get to as many of these questions as we can. And God bless you. Share this video, please, and subscribe to my channel and like this video. We need to get this information out. And I will be dividing the questions and answers, or questions and responses, into 2 different sections. One's got to be censored, one won't be. God bless you all. Stay healthy, my friends.